saying? Yeah. The fanatic. Where we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina. Upstate, A64. Yeah. The FANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I...
Welcome into the Fanatic Sports Channel for sports fans by a sports fan. It's your boy, Coach I.
Stat guy.
All right, man. We in here for a Utah versus San Diego State preview, man. Y'all might be wondering, why are we previewing Utah versus San Diego State? That's because in 2021, Utah went to San Diego State and took a L. That is a loss. So even though this year, I think on the surface, according to Vegas anyway, this is not supposed to be a matchup, but you just never know how these games are going, especially coming off week 2 like we did. Stat guy, how you feeling tonight, man?
Hey, man, I'm feeling good. You know, Utah and San Diego State got a little history. They ran it back pretty much every year for about a 14-year stretch. So that was kind of good to see. Glad to see this rivalry kind of pick back up. Obviously, Utah back when they were in the Mountain West, that was kind of a good non-conference game for both teams. So good to see them keeping that up. But Utah does lead the series 17-13, and they do have one tie. But Utah is 10-4 in their last 14 meetings. So while it's close on the head-to-head surface, these last 14, it's definitely leaning Utah's way, as we've seen over the years, as they've grown into a Pac-12 contender.
Yeah, for real. And last year, I think San Diego State was very senior laden, had a lot of experience that they lost from that team that actually beat Utah. We'll get into that a little bit later. First off, man, just how Utah's doing so far. They're 1-1. They had a tough loss down at the Swamp versus the Gators. Where honestly, the Gators, hey, listen, all credit to the Gators, but Utah did leave some stuff on the field. You know, they had the ball inside the 8-yard line twice, and they turned the ball over one on that last drive or whatever, the last play where they tried to throw it to the tight end and it got intercepted. But then they also had one earlier in that game where the running back fumbled the ball down on like the 1-yard line or something. But then they bounced back. You know, you always need a little bounce back game. You know what I'm saying? When you lose a tough one, nothing better than to have like a FCS or, maybe a smaller group of 5, not a App State or a Marshall, come into the house so you can get a little tune up. And they did that with Southern Utah 73-7. So seemed like they was clicking on all cylinders. It's good practice to be official. So I think that they'll be in the right mindset for this game. I don't think San Diego State's going to sneak up on them because of last year. San Diego State is also 1-1 with a loss to Arizona in the first week, 38-20, and then a win over FCS Idaho State. What you got on those first 2 weeks for those teams, Jeff?
Yeah, the Utah game, I definitely had Utah going to the Swamp and winning week 1. I definitely think that, that's kind of a soul-crushing loss. What are you going to do? I definitely like the bounce back from them in week 2. Obviously, not a huge opponent, but they did what they should do against a team of that caliber, right?
Exactly.
See them turn the page. They weren't sleepwalking and got another scare, got themselves into a situation where they win the game in the fourth quarter. They put that thing away halfway through the second quarter, like you would expect Utah to do if they are going to contend for the Pac-12 title. And everything they're playing for coming into the year is still on the table for them. So, I mean, with where rankings and everything line up, I mean, they are going to control their own destiny. And I think for Utah fans, it's got to be exciting that loss was kind of a gut punch just because of the preseason hype, but it doesn't take anything away. You still have everything that you want to play for on the table in front of you. Go out and make it happen.
That's right, because the way college football went last weekend, one loss may not hurt a lot of teams. Just depends on what you do the rest of the way. They got a lot of chances to make up for it. They still got the Trojans on the schedule. You know what I'm saying? So if they win the Pac-12. I mean, they let everything fall where it may.
As far as San Diego State, I was kind of shocked. I actually had taken them over Arizona week one, and so that was kind of a lackluster performance for me from there. And they're kind of one of those teams out west that, man, you kind of got to watch out schedule them. They beat Utah last year. They hang around with folks. They run the ball very well. They carry the ball. They play solid defense. So definitely a tougher opponent coming out of the WAC. So I'm really excited. I am looking forward to this game. I mean, it is two teams that are familiar with each other, play each other a good little bit. So it should be a good football game this weekend.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into it, man. I mean, Utah and San Diego State at Utah. Vegas has this game set, depending on where you look and what day you look, anywhere from 19.5 in favor of Utah to 21. And what was that over under, Jeff?
So Vegas has the over under at 49.5 for the game.
So 49.5 for the over under, and you're saying about a 20-point spread. Meaning they're thinking the game could be, 20, 28 to 27. I don't know. No, they're thinking the game. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's like a 35 to 15, 35-14 type game. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. All of, like you say, last year San Diego State was like a senior heavy, or at least experience heavy, I should say. And this year they're not so much. I think they only returned like 10, maybe 11 people, but a lot of those guys on defense don't return. So they got Braxton Burmeister at quarterback, guy transfer. He actually started out, if I'm not mistaken, he started out at Oregon. He transferred from Oregon to Virginia Tech, and now from Virginia Tech to San Diego State. He's not known as a elite passer or anything like that, but he is known as being an athlete. So that may add a little something to the running game. So you mentioned that San Diego State is like, one of those teams that's traditionally known for running, but Utah's good in the trenches. So what are you thinking about San Diego State trying to keep this game close with the run game?
Yeah, and that's my worry is that we'll see. I mean, obviously we saw what happened this last weekend. If you establish your run game early and keep it rolling, but man, I just think that Utah's so much better up front on both sides of the ball, and I think that's going to be won or lost. Does it get ugly? Who knows? But I definitely think that Utah's advantage on the line of scrimmage on both sides is where this game is going to be won for the Utes. And it's just going to stifle San Diego State and what they're going to try to do.
Yeah, and you alluded to it. If San Diego State wants to have a chance in this game, I think they would have to run it and kind of kill some of that clock, kind of the same way App State did Texas A&M, because it's not like App State has this, this all great defense or anything. It's just that they had the ball 42 minutes, and Texas A&M only had the ball 18 minutes. So they were able to keep the ball away from them. I don't think, just going into the game, like I said, I think this Utah team is better. They got the guys in the trenches on both sides, like you said, on both sides of the ball. They got a good running game. Who knows? San Diego State might not get that many possessions. I think they will, because I think Utah will be able to score. I'm not saying they're going to be able to score like they did on Southern Utah, but I think I think they'll be able to put up points and get in that 35 to 40 range. And they got the defense, to stifle San Diego State. And it's playing at home. And honestly, the spread is 19.5. I guess we're going to give out our predictions here in a minute, but I don't see that as being a bad, sometimes you see 20, you're like, that's a lot, you know what I'm saying? Especially for a team that lost to a specific team last year. But Utah is in that area where they still got to prove, because, after the Florida loss, not everybody looked at it like us, like, Florida's just better than we thought they were. And then Utah's not bad, but a lot of people naturally like, well, Utah was overrated and all this stuff. I still think Utah's a good team. I think that they're still going to be out to prove something, and what better way to do it than to get revenge on the team that you lost to last year?
So, and for me, the two biggest things for me going into this game, I think San Diego State would scare me more if I was a Utah fan if they had beaten Florida. I think that loss to Florida really humbled them. They have no choice but to go to work week in and week out now, right?
Yeah.
They can't afford another loss. They got to go to work. So I think that loss really humbled them. It's going to kind of affect the way they're going to practice. They can't overlook teams. They're not going to sleepwalk any games. I mean, they're going to have to get up for everybody. With that being kind of what I'm interested to see is, with San Diego State, the dual threat quarterback, yeah, he's not really known for his arm, but he's an athlete. AR-15, 8 Utah up. Can that be something that maybe in watching the film, is that something that San Diego State can take advantage of and use their athletic quarterback to try to make some plays?
I think that'll be the scheme. I don't know if it'll be effective scheme though.
No, but I mean that's what, right? I mean, you would think that that's where they're going to go with it.
Yeah. I definitely don't think they're gonna, with his history of not being a great passer, like with the DBs that Utah has. I don't know if that'll be a great idea if you want to line up and just try to throw it all around the yard. I think the best thing is to come in there, try to run some RPOs, some call quarterback plays. But like, he is athletic, but he's not Anthony Richardson as far as a runner is concerned. But I think Utah's going to be too much on offense. I mean, they got, of course, everybody knows about the tight ends, Kincaid and Keithy. You got Taven Thompson at the running back. But Vele is starting to come on at that receiver position, which gives him another weapon. And then Cam Rising, all the plays that he can make. Honestly, man, I know Utah fans had told me that they start the season out slow every year. Even though they lost to Florida, I don't feel like it was a slow start. You know what I'm saying? I thought they had a good showing down there. And I think last week against Southern Utah is like, they're kind of like, they came in not below average or below where they wanted to be, but they just came in and had a tough loss. But then last week they were clicking on all cylinders. And again, I'm telling you, that's a good practice. It could roll over to this game. This game could really get ugly and cover that 19 early if they come out focused. And I think, what time is that game?
Kickoff at 10 p.m. Eastern.
At what Eastern?
10 p.m. It's nighttime.
Oh, nighttime at Utah? It might get ugly for San Diego State. Pac-12 after dark, it might get ugly for San Diego State, brother. So let's go ahead and get into these predictions, man. All right, you said it's a 49 point over-under, and it is a 19.5 to 21. Like I said, I looked on, I want to say it was, what is this website? I want to say it was like Sportsbook or something. It was 19.5 point spread. I think Utah's winning this game, like I said, about 37-14, something like that. If they give, I must think they probably will give up 14. I think San Diego State's definitely better than Southern Utah. Southern Utah was able to get in the end zone once. I'm going with 37-14. What you thinking?
I got Utah 31-10. But we obviously don't condone betting. We don't condone messing around with that. But if that's something you are into, this is a game I would definitely stay away from. Because one play early and this thing could get ugly, or San Diego State could hang around with them. That 19.5 scares the heck out of me. And even the over-under, I'm not a huge fan of, but I would take the under on that. I think 31-10, somewhere in there is about where it's going to fall down to.
Yeah, if I was betting this game, again, like you said, this is just for, when we're talking about betting, it's just for entertainment purposes only, so don't take our word and try to make a living on it. But I would actually take the 19.5. I think they're going to cover it. And again, I think because this is at night in Utah, like 10 o'clock our time, 7 o'clock their time, but it's still a night game. And Utah has a lot to show people. That they got to show people they're still Utah. They're still the team that came in with high expectations. They still have high expectations. And I think it could get ugly. I really think I'm going with a safe pick for my score, but I think it could. I think it could look a lot like 41-10, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it would not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Diego State is not built to come back.
No, not at all.
Utah gets up a couple touchdowns early. San Diego State isn't one of these teams that is going to go 5 wide and throw the ball 80 times and hit a couple home runs. That's just not who they are. So it definitely has the makings to get ugly and get out of hand if one or two plays goes wrong early.
That's right. That's right. So Utah fans, go ahead and get in the comments, man. Let us know what you think the score prediction is going to be. What do you think the keys to the game are going to be, if it's going to be a tight game? If you think it's going to be a tight game, let us know that as well, man. So for the Stat Guy, man, this is Coach I, the Fan Addict, man. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and we are out.
We got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound, let's go eat. Turn on the Fan Addict, let's have a debate. Who really hold down the Southeast from state to state? What team hungry gonna eat everything up off their plate?